The worldwide leader in streaming, Netflix, announces that a documentary featuring Bubba Wallace and 23XI Racing is in production. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric and welcome to Out of the Groove. Happy Friday, folks. I hope your week has been fantastic. We're going to talk about all things Netflix, all things Bubba Wallace, 23XI Racing, Netflix getting involved, very exciting stuff. We're going to talk about that and much more today, but first we have to thank our sponsor, Credit MRI. Credit MRI is the only credit repair company that charges no upfront fees and offers a no-fee guarantee. Simply put, if they don't deliver results, you don't pay them anything. People typically have a number of negative items that appear on their credit report and keep their scores low. Credit MRI commonly helps customers with foreclosures, collections, charge-offs, repossessions, student loans, bankruptcy, and much more. Credit MRI has been in business more than a decade. They're a small, veteran-owned business. And again, they do not charge their customers unless they deliver results first. I can't stress that enough. Every other credit repair company charges an upfront fee, but not Credit MRI. That sets them apart. They even have a special deal going for fans of Out of the Groove. For $20 off your first invoice, use promo code OOTG20. OOTG20. That's $20 off your first invoice with Credit MRI. They go over their complete program with every new customer whenever they call to sign up. So rest assured you will have a full and complete understanding of the entire program. That's Credit MRI. Check out their website link down in the description and take advantage of that special Out of the Groove promo discount. Now, some huge news in the entertainment world pertaining to NASCAR yesterday. Netflix officially revealed that they are working on a behind-the-scenes documentary all about Bubba Wallace and 23XI Racing and their journey throughout their inaugural debut season. We're going to focus on that because I do have some very strong thoughts, but I also want to mention this before we go much further. Yesterday, the Superstar Racing Experience revealed that Hailie Deegan will join their lineup for at least some races next season. Now, I saw on Hailie Deegan's Instagram story, she's definitely going to be racing in the Knoxville, Iowa dirt race at the very least. We're not sure if she's going to run more than just the one race. I don't think she's running the full 6-race schedule. We didn't see her during that media day a few days back, but it looks like Hailie Deegan's going to run at least one SRX race this summer. I think that's pretty dang cool. I mean, is Hailie Deegan a super accomplished race car driver, especially compared to like Tony Stewart or Bobby Labonte or Cup Series champions like Bill Elliott? No, but it's the Superstar Racing Experience, and you know, whatever you may think of Hailie Deegan's actual racing skill at this point, you can't deny it that she is a superstar, especially in the world of social media where she's got, what, like over 2 million TikTok followers? How many Instagram followers? I think it's over a million. I don't know. I lose count. I'm still not over the fact that it took her like 3 months to go from 0 to 100,000 YouTube subscribers. Do you realize how many years I had to grind for that 6-figure number? More than 8 years, and she did it in 3 months, 4 months maybe. It was no time at all. You blinked and you would have missed it. Anyway, Hailie Deegan's joining the SRX. Hey, it's a Superstar Racing Experience. It's a new storyline. It's a big name. I'm all for it. And if she's racing at Knoxville, a dirt track, she very well might go out and win that dang thing. If she runs Eldora, I think that should be one she has circled. Now, Ray Everham mentioned that she's good at dirt and pavement, so he's suggesting maybe she will run other races besides the dirt track at Iowa, but we shall see. Just wanted to throw that out there at the top of the show. Superstar Racing Experience adds a superstar. Superstar can have many different definitions. She's not quite the same superstar in the way that 3-time Cup Series champion Tony Stewart is, but she's going to appeal to a different demographic perhaps, and she's going to bring some eyeballs. So I think this is a smart move by the SRX. And more seat time for Hailie Deegan. It's not a NASCAR car, but it is kind of like that. More seat time, that's good for her as well. I'm happy about it. It'll be fun to watch, I suppose. Now, I didn't mean to brush that aside so quickly, but I want to focus most of this episode. I want to dedicate this video primarily to Netflix and NASCAR's newest announcement. They're continuing their partnership. It began early this year with The Crew, you know, that Kevin James sitcom all about a NASCAR team debuting on Netflix after the Daytona 500. Now it continues with something pretty exciting. Netflix is known for its many award-winning, or in many cases viral, documentaries they have developed and that they now have on their streaming service. Now, at long last, they are bringing NASCAR into the fold. As I mentioned, Netflix confirmed yesterday that they are working on a documentary series all about 23XI Racing's first season in the NASCAR Cup Series. It'll be focused on Bubba Wallace, I'm sure Denny Hamlin, and perhaps even Michael Jordan, although he was not mentioned in any of the press releases yesterday. I'm sure he'll be featured as well. Big name, can't miss that marketing opportunity. The documentary is currently in production. Presumably they've been filming since Daytona, so they're getting a lot of behind the scenes footage footage. They have been up to this point. They will continue throughout the season. As noted by Adam Stern from Sports Business Journal, no release date or title have been announced at this point, but we do know that it is in production. Bubba Wallace chiming in saying that he likes to keep things real and raw. Boy, I like that. Bubba Wallace, of course, is going to be the focus of the documentary. It's NASCAR and Netflix's first time, I don't know, I guess collaborating on a documentary like this. A lot of fans, even NASCAR fans, are very familiar with Netflix's other popular motorsport-related documentary, the Drive to Survive series, focusing on Formula One and the many stars and behind-the-scenes drama of that sport. That's become a huge hit for Netflix the last couple of years. This is now NASCAR's first attempt at a serious, behind-the-scenes Netflix documentary. Very exciting. Now I'm going to spend most of this video analyzing this from NASCAR's perspective because all due respect to Netflix, I don't have a stake in Netflix. I could care less if Netflix succeeds or fails one day. I do have a rooting interest in NASCAR, as many of you do as well. So I'm going to look at this from NASCAR's perspective, the good and bad from the NASCAR side of things. And there is a whole lot of good here. I mean, Netflix has tens of millions of subscribers across the US and Canada. I don't know what the exact number is. It's like upwards of 70 million, I think. Crazy, crazy number. We know the success of the Drive to Survive documentary in the States. That's part of why the Formula One just announced a second US Grand Prix date starting next year, Miami. I think many would credit Drive to Survive's success as one of the reasons why Formula One's ratings have significantly increased the last few years in the United States. So again, from NASCAR's perspective, this is a huge opportunity to market one of your most outgoing and notable personalities in Bubba Wallace. I'm sure Denny Hamlin, co-owner of 2311, who's another driver who's very successful and at least recently, especially on Twitter, has been very outgoing. Great chance to spotlight him. Of course, there's Michael Jordan, who's not really thought of as a NASCAR figure, but this year he is the majority owner of 2311 Racing. And for the outside sports fan, someone who maybe isn't that interested in NASCAR, if they see Michael Jordan's name attached to this documentary or that he's going to be featured in it in some way, I'm sure that's going to draw in some new viewers. I'm sure that's going to attract some clicks on Netflix. Now, again, I'll mention that in all the tweets and announcements yesterday, I did not see anything about Michael Jordan. So again, I think Jordan's kind of hands off with 2311. I think he kind of sits in the background and signs the paychecks and, tunes in occasionally on Sundays. So I don't really know how involved he's going to be in this documentary. I mean, it's Netflix. I think they have it in their budget to get Michael Jordan to sit down for an interview or two. So I'm sure he'll be in it some, but to think this is going to focus on him like The Last Dance Part 2 or something, I think that's wrong. It's going to probably focus on Bubba, Denny, Mike Wheeler, 2311, the shop, more than it's going to focus on Michael Jordan or anything else, but I could be wrong. Anyway, that's going to be an important part of marketing. NASCAR, a sport that has seen many of its most iconic personalities kind of fizzle away or retire in recent years, is finally going to get the chance to showcase one of, again, their loudest personalities to the world. As if Bubba Wallace didn't have enough pressure on him already, he's about to be the star of a Netflix documentary. That is a huge deal. So a lot of good going on with this announcement. Now, I tweeted a little bit about this yesterday, but I feel like this argument is better suited for a long form show, video, podcasts, almost thing like this, because I kind of have to play devil's advocate here a little bit. As good as this is, and because we've been clamoring since The Crew was announced, especially for NASCAR and Netflix to work on some sort of serious documentary. I've talked about on this show how I'd love to see something similar, at least in tone, to Drive to Survive coming to NASCAR and being streamed either on Netflix or Amazon or Hulu, one of the big streaming services. We've been clamoring for this. So what was announced yesterday is very close, if not exactly the kind of thing many of us, including myself, we're cheering for. But is it perfect? Is it exactly, again, from NASCAR's perspective, is it exactly the best thing NASCAR could ask for in this instance? I'm not sure. Again, I want to stress that I'm looking at this from NASCAR's perspective, because from Netflix's perspective, I completely get it. If you're going to make a NASCAR show, a documentary, and you want it to appeal to as many people as possible, yeah, you're going to focus on the team that has Michael Jordan, sports cultural legend, invested in it. You're going to focus on the team with Bubba Wallace as the driver, easily the most recognizable name worldwide from the NASCAR Cup Series today. I know you guys don't want to hear that, but yes, if I go out on the street today and ask 100 random people to name an active NASCAR driver, I'd all but guarantee you Bubba Wallace would get the most mentions. So again, if I'm Netflix, that is the story I want to tell. The story of a new team facing new obstacles, new challenges, with Michael Jordan signing the checks and Bubba Wallace, the only black driver in the Cup Series, because that does matter for marketing purposes. that's a no-brainer. If I'm Netflix, if I'm an executive, I mean, they're known for greenlighting just about anything. That's the easiest greenlight I've probably ever given. So again, from Netflix perspective, this is a slam dunk. I get why they would want to focus on Bubba Wallace instead of, say, Ryan Newman, or even like Brian Blaney, or a more popular younger driver. Bubba Wallace is the most widespread recognizable name in NASCAR today. Michael Jordan is one of the most widespread recognizable names in all of sports. That combination is going to sell tickets, or in the case of Netflix, is going to draw clicks, or maybe drive subscription. I don't know. And again, I think this is great for NASCAR. I mean, hey, a documentary about Bubba Wallace and Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin is way better than no Netflix documentary at all. Like, this is a huge deal for NASCAR. But I have to once again raise the question, is it smart from NASCAR's perspective to be putting so much focus on Bubba Wallace and Bubba Wallace only? If broad media attention was like a pie chart, this would be Bubba Wallace, all the attention he's getting, and then this little slice right here would be like everybody else. I'm talking Chase Elliott, Blaney, Harvick, Keselowski, everybody else is like this little sliver. Bubba's the rest. Is that smart to consolidate all of the focus, all the attention onto a guy who's 20th in points? Like, I understand the argument that you don't want NASCAR to just directly copy Drive to Survive, but one thing Drive to Survive does that I kind of would wish a NASCAR Netflix documentary would do as well is focus on more than just one guy, one team. I mean, I'm sure other drivers and teams will probably be mentioned in the Bubba Wallace documentary, but 99% of the attention and focus will be on 23XI Racing. So if I had an unlimited budget and total control at Netflix, I'd like to see a NASCAR documentary a little more focused on several drivers. It doesn't have to be everyone in the field. You don't have to talk about 30 drivers every episode, but maybe like 4 or 5. Like, you got Bubba in there. I think Bubba is one of the best stories in the Cup Series this year. But here's the thing, and I talked about this a little bit about a month ago when we talked about Bubba Wallace and all the hype that continues to build daily behind him and his brand. I worry that Bubba Wallace is peaking too soon. And I'm not talking about in terms of his skill and talent. I don't think he has peaked yet. 23XI Racing has not peaked yet. They are still growing and trying to improve week to week. Their best results are yet to come. I'm talking about the media coverage. Bubba Wallace is on morning shows. He's on late night TV shows. He's on massively popular sports podcasts. He's now going to get a Netflix documentary. He's getting all this stuff before he's done anything of note in the NASCAR Cup Series. I said this a few weeks ago, but I'm genuinely worried that the hype that we're trying to build around Bubba Wallace is only going to cause him to flame out in the eyes of the mass public. Think about this. He's going to be on Netflix. He's going to draw in millions of probably non-NASCAR fans into watching some of that show. He's been on podcasts, he's been on TV shows. He's probably attracted hundreds of thousands of new eyeballs into various NASCAR races over the last several months. But I genuinely wonder how many of those new eyeballs have actually stuck around and watched more than 1 or 2 races, especially when they've likely tuned in and seen the only driver they recognize, Bubba Wallace, running 20th more often than not. Like last year with Richard Petty Motorsports, didn't have the equipment, rarely cracked the top 10. He ran 20th every week most of the time. But even this year, outside of the dual races where he almost won his dual race at Daytona, I mean, they've struggled this year. They've shown some speed recently, but then they struggled at Richmond, so it's still been inconsistent. It's a new team, they're figuring it out. But if you're a new potential fan who's only tuning in because you saw Bubba Wallace on a morning show or you heard him on the I Am Athlete podcast, and the first impression you see is Bubba running 21st at Richmond, are you going to tune in the next week? Because you don't know anything about any of those other drivers. Remember that pie chart I said? You have not heard about Chase Elliott probably. You probably haven't heard much about Kevin Harvick or Denny Hamlin. When you tuned into Richmond this last weekend and saw, Bubba Wallace in 26th and Alex Bowman, some guy you've probably never heard of, winning the race, does that make you want to tune in the next week? Or did NASCAR just miss their chance with you? That's what I'm saying. Bubba Wallace has gotten tens of, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars worth of exposure in the last year or so alone. But every new fan that he's made in the last year has only ever seen him run basically 20th on a regular basis. He has not been a consistent contender in the last year. A lot of that is equipment. This year it's a new team. But again, these are new fans who maybe don't understand everything. They're tuning in for the first time and seeing Bubba Wallace run 20th. And that seems like false advertising to them. If they see Bubba on the I Am Athlete podcast where it's titled, Bubba Wallace is the Tiger Woods of NASCAR, Tiger Woods won a lot of golf tournaments. He won a lot of major tournaments. Arguably the best golfer ever. When you have titles like that, when that's the kind of marketing and the exposure that Bubba Wallace is getting, these new fans are going to tune in and expect to see Bubba Wallace up front. And in the last year, Bubba Wallace has spent very little time up front. So I worry that we're squandering these hundreds of millions of dollars worth of media exposure. We're squandering it because we're blowing it all too early. Please, pump the brakes a little bit. I want Bubba Wallace to succeed. If Bubba Wallace succeeds, that's good for the entire sport of stock car racing. That's good for all of motorsports. If Bubba Wallace actually becomes a contender one day and 2311 Racing starts winning races from time to time, making the playoffs, maybe one day even becomes a championship contender, that would be amazing. I'm rooting for it to happen. You guys have to understand, I really want that to happen. None of this added media attention is going to make his car faster on Sundays. So you can continue to pump up Bubba Wallace and tell people how great he is and maybe get a few of them to tune in on Sunday. But after these new fans tune in once or twice and see Bubba running 25th, they're going to tune out and they may never tune in again because now they don't trust you. They were told that Bubba Wallace is the biggest thing in NASCAR and they saw for their own eyes that he is not. When it actually comes to performance on Sunday, no, Bubba and 2311 are not top contenders yet. I say yet because I still think that potential is there, but they're not there yet. New fans aren't going to know that, so I'm repeating myself at this point, but I think you guys, or I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I'm not against the media attention. It's good for NASCAR when any of their drivers are pumped up and promoted and on late night talk shows. I mean, that's great for all of NASCAR. But going back again to that hypothetical pie chart, I wish that the pie chart was a little more evenly distributed. I love Bubba. I understand he's going to get a lot of media coverage. He deserves a lot of media coverage. And I'm fine if he has the biggest slice of that pie. But we need to be hyping up guys like Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin. They need to be getting a significant chunk of that pie as well. Which is why when I see this news about this Netflix documentary, I'm super excited. Because it's NASCAR, Netflix, serious, exciting, dramatic documentary about a new team. That's great. At the same time, I can't help but wish that, you know, maybe a few other drivers would get appearances in it as well, and that we were getting something that was a little more widely distributed than just all the attention on Bubba Wallace and Bubba Wallace only. I hope I'm making sense. You know, it's very difficult, as I'm sure many of you have found on Twitter or Reddit or Instagram, wherever the case may be. It's difficult to have an actual nuanced and intelligent conversation about Bubba Wallace because so often it feels like whenever someone mentions Bubba Wallace, everyone comes out of the woodworks. You got the people that come out that say, oh, Bubba Wallace is the worst thing about NASCAR. He's the latest example of why NASCAR is dying. But then you got the other side of the coin that says Bubba Wallace can do no wrong. He's the greatest thing that ever happened in NASCAR. He'll make it one day. He can do no wrong. You get both polar opposite sides of it. And it's just, it never leads to actual good debate or conversation. So hopefully the comment sections of this video are a bit more civilized. You guys usually do a really good job. I love the comment section on these videos. So I have high hopes. But I appreciate you guys watching this episode and hearing me out, at least hearing some of my concerns. I'm still really excited for this 2311 Racing Bubba Wallace Netflix documentary. Like, I'll be watching it day one. I'm gonna be binging that thing. That's super exciting. I just think from NASCAR's perspective, it'd be really nice if some of the guys who are actually contending right now also get some decent screen time in some of these things. Hopefully that becomes the case in the near future. Maybe that's wishful thinking. Either way, great that NASCAR and Netflix are teaming up. That's positive no matter how you look at it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching. Before I go, this weekend it is Talladega weekend, perhaps the most extreme track on the NASCAR schedule. So thanks to my friends at Swan Security Systems, we are giving away one of their extreme security cameras this weekend. Check out the tweet link down in the description. But all this weekend, if you tweet using the hashtag ExtremeDega, you'll be entered in for a chance to win this security system, as well as some sweet swag supplied by my boy Jordan Anderson, Truck Series, Xfinity Series team owner and driver. Really awesome giveaway package, so be sure to check that out. Again, go to Twitter anytime this weekend and tweet hashtag ExtremeDega for a chance to win. That is all I've got. I appreciate you all watching this video. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. We talk NASCAR pretty much daily. As always, a huge thank you to my amazing Patreon supporters. I could not do this show without your continued support. We'll be back this weekend, Xfinity race tomorrow. We'll probably be doing like a live stream reaction to it, as we've been doing much of this season. And then Sunday, of course, we'll be reacting to the Geico 500. We'll have a race review edition of Out of the Groove later that evening. I hope you guys are excited because I am. Super speedway racing with a tapered spacer and a big ass sport. Very excited. Very exciting weekend. I look forward to watching those races along with you all. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you very soon.